Hi, what's up, y'all? It's currently January the 20th. It's 8:54 right now, and I'm gonna be reading for 30 minutes to help me speak better. Finna set the timer for 30 minutes. Got it going. That's 8:54. All right. I'm glad that you're here. That you're reading this means that one of the two things is true. You've realized you need to make time to take better care of yourself, or someone you love has cared enough to gift you this book. Either way, it's a win-win. Self-care is not a perfect journey. Different factors and barriers, including mental ones, get in the way of self-care. Even when armed with the right tools and educations, you may still struggle to put some of the suggestions in this book into practice. Give yourself grace, but also hold yourself accountable. Looking after yourself can be difficult, but if you try new things, you will gain a lot. Your health will improve, your relationships will get better, your mental health will become more stable and secure. Within these pages are opportunities to lean into ease and relaxation. There will be times when you will take a deeper look at yourself and internalize perspectives of masculinity and blackness. This might be uncomfortable, but being uncomfortable is necessary for growth. These challenges are offered in love and liberation. Have faith in your ability to do the work. I have faith that there is some part of you that will do whatever you need to take better care of yourself. Be proud of yourself for starting here. As a black man and therapist, I know that the ways we heal may look different from the ways we mainstream wellness talks about health. Black men experience the same challenges as anyone else, but with the added pressures of racism, increased stigma, and oppression, the path in healing is different and needs to take into account our lived lives, realities, and the complexity of contemporary black masculinity. This book aims to provide space for exploring these ideas. While you're here, I have one favor to ask. If any part of this book inspires you, heals you, or otherwise brings you to a new understanding, I want you to lend your copy to another black man in your life. Help spread the word that black men need to deserve to take care of themselves. Be generous and share insights and tips you gain these pages so that the next person goes a little further along on their own journey of self-care. As they say, each one teach one. Black men deserve restoration. We deserve to do things that help us operate as the best versions of ourselves every day. But what do these things look like in today's world? How do you take care of your mental health when men who look like you frequently die at the hands of the police? How can you make room for joy when you have so much on your to-do list? How do you cultivate? Cultivate? I gotta look this word up right quick. How do you cultivate? Okay. I'm here. How do you cultivate peace and refuge when you're not sure how to address your needs? How do you navigate a challenged workplace? What strategies can help you strengthen your mental health and willing to become a healthier father, friend, or partner? In self-care for black men, you will find the answers of these questions in the form of self-care. More than exercising just for the sake of it or just getting sleep when you need it. Self-care is a way of nurturing your body, mind, and spirit, resisting the systems of inequality that try to keep you down. Each of the 100 entries in this book provides important background and content for black men regarding a specific self-care practice and offer easy steps for putting the practice into action. You will find the strategies that will help you live a balanced life on a daily basis, like making a mental health copying plan, reject beliefs wrapped in internalized colonial ideas, and embrace healing-centered justice, like embodying radical acceptance. Unpack culture programming to embrace self-determination and self-definition, like clarifying your personal values. Release trauma and reframe thought patterns that cause distress, like addressing the mother's wound. Recognize the importance of relationship building and community care, like reaching out to a friend and practice healing in community. You may read a new entry and take and take a new action daily or weekly, or focus on multiple actions in a week or month, depending on what feels right for you. You may decide to read entries in order or skip around based on what's most relevant to your life. However you approach this book, Self-Care for Black Men offers both practical advice and inspiration for building a self-care based on your needs. This is your opportunity to take your mental, physical, and spiritual health firmly within your own hands. It is your chance to fight back against the challenges and oppression sent your way through the power of self-care. What does it mean to be Black? There are millions of Black people across the many countries and cultures in the African diaspora, and you will likely find as many definitions or interpretations of Blackness. Have you stopped to consider what your definition is? How that sense of identity is shaped by your immediate environment. As children, we learn a great deal about ourselves through observation and modeling. If you grew up with Black parents and Black family members, those people in your life likely your biggest models of what it means to be Black. If you are Black and grew up in a non-Black family as the adopted son or daughter of parents of a different race, your experience and identification with Blackness likely came from outside of your home. One of the truths related to Blackness contends that Black men don't go to therapy. That's white people stuff. You may have heard or even said something similar to this. Sometimes it's good-natured humor and fun. At other times, you can feel the weight of those messages as someone tries to keep you in line with how they see Blackness. And if you fall outside of those lines, you can be ridiculed or even socially excluded for not falling into these so-called social norms. There are many different perspectives on how to identify and describe Blackness as an identity. Black Caribbeans tends to see themselves as different from Black Americans, who see themselves as different from Black Africans, and so forth. This idea probably isn't new to you either. Neither is the idea of disconnectedness and isolation you may have felt as a result. These kinds of obstacles to creating a more cohesive diaspora, the movement away from homelands. Okay, I'm here. If you don't fall within the socially acceptable limits of Blackness, you may feel isolated from others. Sometimes that disconnection can be so painful that people who identify with other people. Consider what the notorious O.J. Simpson once said. I think that's notorious. O.J. Simpson once said, "I'm not Black, I'm O.J." This is a perfect example. Those kinds of statements speaks to a deeper rift between community and self. Maybe you have felt that disconnection in certain conversations involving within group racial policing too. It's just one of many residuals of the intergenerational trauma of slavery that forced our ancestors to disassociate from Africa. Colorism within Black communities is another residual. Take action. Today I want you to permit yourself to define Blackness on your own terms. Does that mean you allow yourself to proclaim your love for country music? What about your distaste for current rap culture? Maybe it means permitting yourself to connect with your African roots, or perhaps that's not all that important to you personally. There's no judgment here. Take a moment to write down some words that reflect your personal experience of Blackness and what you want to embody. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna push that to the side. Make that therapy. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, this is your sign to send that email and request an appointment. Historically, the words Black men in therapy have rarely been part of the same sentence, but psychotherapy or talk therapy with a trained mental health provider is helpful whether you are looking to make a career switch or trying to manage symptoms related to challenges such as depression or bipolar disorder. It runs that gamut in terms of kind of support it can offer. Unfortunately, one belief you've internalized to some degree is that seeking help is a sign of man weakness. Man weakness. This almost seems to be coded in the DNA of the modern black man. Thankfully, in recent years, the tide has been shifting. More black men are understanding the importance of mental health and the value of therapy. Black men can thank black women for courageously opening the door for us, and we do. Specifically, as black women continue to normalize the notion of getting support, more and more black men are following their example by seeking therapy. After all, black women navigate the world through double marginalization based on race and gender. While it is not the only place to get support, a therapist's office is a safe place to address anxieties related to discrimination. A good therapist can also help identify any past mental health misdiagnosis. It's okay for you to need help. We all need help sometimes. Hold on. No pages. Mental organization is an often overlooked aspect of mental health. This is the case because most of us occasionally reach situational limits, periods, when our brains can only process and organize so much. Once it's overloaded with information, other stressors, and mental health concerns, the brain doesn't work as efficiently. Think of it as your web browser with too many tabs open. Music is playing and you have no idea which tab is coming from. This is your brain on stress. For black men, some of those open tabs are personal life circumstances, such as work or family life, and this compounds with external forces like discrimination that continuously run in the back of your mind. Have you ever made a health appointment only to arrive at the appointment at the wrong time or on the wrong day? Do you have a habit of misplacing items at home or work? Do you struggle with doing the things you know you need to get done? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you might be dealing with reduced cognitive performance. This isn't necessarily a cause for alarm, but it is important to recognize that these kinds of mistakes are often early signs that you are not your best. Forgetting an appointment or an errand you were supposed to do is a sign that your mental focus is split and your brain is trying to keep up with too much. It means you're probably operating beyond your current capacity. When that happens, it is easy to be forgetful and misplace things. Using organization tools such as to-do lists, an incredibly helpful way to navigate a busy life with multiple responsibilities. If paper and pen are not your thing, you can easily use a smartphone or other technology that promotes you to do the task with an alarm or reminder. Message for a certain time and / or location. If you add reminders to your to-do list, you can reduce your cognitive load. Wouldn't that make life easier? Take a moment to breathe. I can't breathe. Those were the final words of Eric Garner when he was killed at the hands of the NYPD in 2014. Even long before that, black men have been acutely aware of the fear of meeting the same fate. This kind of tragedy and trauma is not new to us due to generational lineages stored with lynching and published death at the hands of people in power. You have likely feared the day that you or another brother you love could follow the same destiny. That fear is born out of the vicarious trauma of seeing people who look, sound, and maybe even act like you die at the hands of those who are supposed to protect and serve us. This and changed our own experience with breath. This kind of racial stress and vicarious trauma exists within the body, creating a deep internal tension that prevents you from being truly at rest. Your breath, the thing you long to protect, ironically becomes trapped in your chest in the shallowness of your fear. Take a moment to think about it right now. When was the last time you took a full deep breath and felt relaxed? While shallow breathing can clue you in your body's opening ongoing anxiety and fear, it can also help call in relaxation and ease. This is because your breath is directly connected to your fight or flight response. When you are scared of or anxious, breathing shallows and quickens as your sympathetic nervous system activates. When you are in a state of relaxation, breathing slows and becomes fuller, deeper as your parasympathetic nervous system takes over. Because of this, you can intentionally use your breath to soothe your nervous system with simple intentional breathing exercises. One of my favorite breathing exercises is called box breathing. This exercise has reportedly been used by Navy SEALs and by snipers for promoting relaxation to help them do their jobs effectively. You are using it for more peaceful reasons. Here is an example yet effective strategy to help regulate your nervous system and engage in the relaxation function of your brain. First, you will breathe in, inhale for 4 seconds. Then you will hold that breath for 4 more seconds. Next, you breathe out, exhale for 4 seconds. Then you hold for 4 more seconds with empty lungs. Repeat the cycle over and over again with a new inhale to help you focus on the breathing. You can trace a box with your finger during the exercise. Draw one line of the box with each inhale. In each inhale, you can do as many of these 16-second cycles as you like until you feel relaxed. Stretch it out. Mental health is important in physical health. People who say this may have good intentions, but mental health and physical health are actually intertwined in what is called the mind-body connection. Example includes the fact that exercise or lack of it impacts mental health. Nutritional psychiatry has also emerged as a way to treat mental illness because of the brain relationship to gut microbiome, the delicate balance between microorganisms such as bacteria in your gastrointestinal system, which impacts your mood. In addition, some conditions such as anxiety, depression, particularly for Black folks, are more likely to create physical symptoms in a process called somatization. For example, stress can cause some people to develop headaches, chest pains, nausea, or fatigue. If you pay attention, these are often early signs you need to address your mental health. Stretching regularly can help reduce muscle tension, fatigue, and stiffness. It enables muscles in the body to become lubricated, allowing for a greater range of motion and ease. When you are in a constant state of physical tension, your body may also send a message back to your brain that you have something to be tense about. This can create an unintentional and ongoing cycle of discomfort and distress. The kind of relief you get from moving your body is powerful. I understand that attending yoga, gym, or pilot sessions may not feel entirely comfortable for Black men who believe African American males doesn't exist in those spaces. If you don't like to visit the gym or other workout venues, stretching is something you can do in just a few minutes per day. You don't need to take up yoga to stretch. You don't need to be a pilot's master of yoga because stretching isn't complicated. It is something you can do at a place and time of your choosing, even for just a few minutes. We'll give you permission to honor your body and mind in this simple way. Organize and declutter your workspace. As a result of flex practices adopted in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, many of us are now working full-time from home or splitting our work time between home and office. This means you have less direct and office supervision. It also means there's a greater likelihood that you will make organizational errors to lose focus because you're struggling as you sift through work-related clutter. Those situations are not good for your mental health. Black man faces a lot of external and internalized pressure at work. Staying organized can help you manage the stress with your immediate control and help you stay more productive throughout your workday. You may not know this, but your workspace or living space reflects your internal psychological space. Have you discovered that when you aren't doing well mentally, your work or living space often looks a bit messier? Conversely, have you ever noticed how you feel your best when your space is clutter free with everything in its place? That's not an accident. It indicates that the surrounding physical space is often a reflection of how you are thinking and feeling. While this isn't quite a diagnostic tool, a person's living space is often an indicator of how that person is doing. Influential. I did not mean to say that. I apologize. How that person is doing internally. Aside from the barrier of being busy, it's common for those living with conditions such as depression and chronic anxiety to have difficulty keeping their personal living spaces clean and organized. Why is that? In my experience, it's hard to focus on the straightforward activities of daily life when your mental health concerns demand of so much of your energy and attention. Even if you're not struggling with mental illness, your space can still reflect how well you are and organized and grounded. This is something I have even observed in my personal space. If things get too cluttered, or if it's been a while since I've organized, it's highly likely that I'm being pulled into many directions. Is that same true for you? Yes. A home can be more than just a place where you lay your head. It can be a space meant for rest and rejuvenation. However, all too often, Black men are not intentional about creating that kind of space for themselves. Sometimes it's because we don't understand how our immediate environment makes us feel. This is in large parts because many Black men hold the traditional perspective that the home is somehow a woman's domain. There's nothing wrong with that perspective if it works for you and your family. However, when Black men encounter race-based physical and psychological threats in the outside world, it is even more important to have a place of refuge inside the home. Have you ever censored a place and immediately found it to be soothing? Conversely, have you ever walked into a room and immediately got the sense that it was too formal or stuffy for you? Environments have an impact both positively and negatively on your mental health. A whole area of research, environmental health, explores these kinds of concerns, and while no one can feel comfortable 100% of the time, why not try to cultivate space within your home that helps you feel the way you like to feel. It may take some time to figure out what makes you feel most at ease. Is that sitting in front of the TV in a quiet room, or are you more at ease in a meditation/wellness space where you sit and breathe or do yoga? Is there a kind of lightning that hurts your eyes? Are there scents that help you feel calm? This is all information you can use to create a space at home that enables you to retain or restore your mental health. There's no right or wrong way to create your space of peace for you. If you long ignored your emotional and psychological need for ease, this is your opportunity to be active in your healing. How comfortable are you with taking care of your physical self? I'm imagining that you found this book in your quest for a more active self-care process. I'm glad that you're here. Black men don't take enough time to take care of themselves. As you explore more options for intentional self-care, you may find that you need professional help with achieving a sense of peace. For example, you might consider seeking out holistic healers due to pressures such as discrimination in the workspace, social anxieties, and ongoing physical threats to Black safety. Black men need much more support than they are collectively getting. You need space and time to heal from all the stressors and encounter daily. Most men believe they handle these pressures well. And there may be some truth to that. However, even with some coping skills, you must consider that the rates of chronic health issues such as heart disease and high blood pressure are higher among black people, especially black men, because of racial stressors. You can do all that you can daily to power through to stay focused on your goals. But the research is clear that all these things take a bigger toll on our minds and bodies than anyone would like to think. When it comes to taking care of your mental, spiritual, and physical health, there are many service options and providers to consider. You could consult a doctor or a host of other health practitioners who can teach you different ways to take care of yourself. Yoga practitioners can help with physical and spiritual alignment. Reiki healers, what is that? Okay. Oh, we got it in front. Okay. Work with moving energy and healing. Acupuncturists help manage QI, the body's natural energy. Nutritionists provide dietary consultation. Chiropractors help with physical realignment. Health coaches can help you reach fitness and nutrition goals. Holistic healing is dedicated to treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Holistic providers use their expertise to help you achieve overall health and optimal wellness. It can be helpful to step outside of your comfort zone and try some things new. There are always opportunities to learn from different cultures and new sources of knowledge. In addition to experiencing oh my God, I lost weight. To experiencing health. There are always opportunities to learn from different cultures and new sources of knowledge. In addition to experiencing health benefits, you may also expose yourself to new perspectives that could enable you to deal more effectively with life challenges. Black men historically have a terrible relationship with doctors in the medical field. I don't think that's true. This should come as no surprise, as medicine has historically been hostile toward black people in the antebellum South. For example, white doctors routinely operated and enslaved Africans without anesthesia. Also, it is believed that modern gynecology was actually developed as a result of dangerous experiments on a slave black woman by practitioners such as Dr. James Marion Sims. In addition, you may be familiar with these Tuskegee experiment in which doctors knowingly infected black men with syphilis. There are many stories of medical abuse in the United States. This has caused a traumatic relationship between black folks and systems that are ideally supposed to take care for them. Black folks approach doctors and health providers more broadly with skepticism and well-founded paranoia. Today, however, this fear creates a medical care aversion that leads to health disparities. Getting the kind of medical care that can help you maintain physical health is a self-care essential. You desperately need a provider for a better quality of life. You need to know the state of your internal body. It is not enough to say that you feel fine. Most days you deserve better than fine. You deserve to feel good, maybe even great about your internal health. Imagine the quality of daily life you can have when you are reassured that your health is in check. The longer you go without seeing a physician, the more you increase the odds that an undiagnosed issue will lead to a critical health outcome for simple issues. This may not be that big of a deal, but I'm sure that you have stories just as I do of a friend or relative finally get things to the doctor and receiving devastating news. This is all too common among black men. By scheduling routine care, you can make sure that you don't become a statistic. You can take control of your health and live a life worth living with the right care. This will enable you to enjoy things in your life and be the man that you need to be for your loved ones. All right, so we got like a couple seconds left. So this, well, I started at like 8:55, I think. Well, this, what, I don't want to start another page and not be able to finish, but we at like 7 seconds left. So this book, I actually like this book. I'm just starting this book. It's a new book, you know what I'm saying? And then I feel like I'm gonna learn a lot from this book right here. You know what I'm saying? I need to start speaking better. I encourage y'all to read this book, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it just talks about mental health, and that's why I'm here. You know, I want to self-reflect and make myself a better person. So, and I'm not finna drive myself insane with this YouTube stuff. I just want to share my journey, you know, of me being a better man. So I'll be back whenever I be back. Peace.